We got official patch notes detailing bug fixes, quality of life improvements, and other fantastic new things coming to Arknights Enfield on February 5th, including the designation selection permit that's going to give you your choice of a 6-star operator available on the standard head hunting chartered permit. Those are Ardelia, Prognoctic, Lastrite, Ember, and Lefang for those not familiar. This is going to become available to administrators who complete Chapter 1, Process 1, Break the Siege while following along in the main story. And if you're someone like myself, as I'm sure many of you are who are already past that point, you're going to get one of these designation selection permits delivered directly into your inbox to grab a 6-star operator of your choice and start gearing them out. Let's go ahead and dig on into the rest of QOL and bug fixes that are coming in this patch also, because there's some really good stuff in here. I'm going to link the full dev communication in the video description down below for those that want to easily reference it. We'll cover the highlights here together. We start off with a couple of fun facts as of February 1st. So just 9 days since launch, administrators laid a total of over 42 billion meters of power cable and put down over 23 million shared facilities inside of Valley 4. Moving along to the meat and potatoes here, we've got some optimizations that are becoming in this next patch, starting with the reduction of the difficulty at different exploration levels inside of the world. They're going to be pulling down the levels of a lot of the enemies that are spawning while leaving the loot drop tables that they're going to have exactly the same. So these things will be easier to clean out, which I think is a welcome change, even with my current characters being able to clear through level 70 enemies on the regular world map. Some of them can be a little chunky at that level, making the combat be a little bit longer than I would like it to while I'm doing open world exploration. Another excellent change that doesn't apply to me as someone who's past this point, but I think is a welcome addition, is that the early game operator progression support is going to be changing. Administrators who hit authority level 16, 17, and 18 are now going to get Ferrarium components directly for assembling some blue quality gear. And then at 28, 29, and 30, you're going to get some Chryson opponents for immediately assembling purple gear. This is a really good addition to the game, something I talked about in my live streams, how it felt so clunky that you would get the blueprints for being able to assemble the blue gear long before you found Ferrarium on the map organically, and the same thing, you would get blueprints for purple gear before you were really ready to start assembling Cryston components. So letting the player be able to unlock that higher level gear for at least their main DPS to start before they unlock being able to mine more of it is awesome. It also means you get to dive in and craft some of those immediately, as opposed to having to set up the factory setups to do so first, which, while it can be fun, does take a good bit of time, and this lets you get your operators up to snuff right away. They've got an update feature to factory control optimizations, allowing you to quickly switch all selected facilities on or off while in the top view mode. This will be extra handy to be able to toggle a bunch of things off if you ever get your AIC facilities into a situation where you're using too much power, so you can get them back under the threshold while you build your battery production back up or fix whichever resource was currently being underproduced to give you appropriate battery production. They're also updating the map experience for the distribution of enemies near several teleport points and rare material gathering sites, so that way you're not getting attacked as often while trying to set up AIC facilities at them. All of these optimizations, along with that extra headhunting permit that we talked about at the start, should be landing in the February 5th update here soon. Looking forward to the future. Past the February 5th update, other things they're confirming they have in the works are adding more early game headhunting resources and sources, letting folks get more pulls and get more characters quickly to start working on. I think makes a lot of sense. Even as someone who's spent a little bit to get extra pulls, you already have characters that you want to be building on, so having a wider range of those sound great. They're going to add more sources of AIC quota, as players have reflected the limited amount of AIC quota available in the early game. They're going to optimize tasks inside of the operation manual, and then they're going to be updating the protocol space materials so players can now challenge these protocol space with their teams at max HP. That's great. Something that felt really clunky was like you'd have a bad rotation or have something happen, you'd have to like back out of the protocol space and like heal your team at a point and then manually go back into it. It's always free to heal your teams, but it would take time. It would require clicking through a lot of menus. That'll be a nice QOL coming. They got a number of AIC factory updates coming that look great, including optimizing the display of shared facilities inside of cutscenes. They're going to optimize the management of shared facilities so they can be deleted directly from the map screen if those are annoying for you. They're going to optimize some of the quick stash logic with filled bottles. They're going to make it so the player's own zip lines are better distinguished from shared ones, which will definitely be a welcome addition. Sometimes those could be a little messy and overlapping. They're going to be adding the mini map during zip lining, which this is great. It was kind of baffling that that was not there to start. The one I think I'm most looking forward to is they're increasing the max zoom out of the top level mode. There's actually, I forget what triggers it, but there's actually a bigger amount of zoom that you can get by happenstance. So it'll be nice that you can see more of your AIC facility from a top down to get all of the layouts there a little bit more clean. This one's interesting. They're going to allow AIC facility construction outside of the core AIC area. I assume that means things like conveyor belts. I would love to hear in the comments down below what exactly that means. It's a little bit vague because you could already build buildings outside of it, but you couldn't run belts and things between them. Optimizing the display of completed simulations and adding engraved metals for completed simulations. We got some generic QOL coming for both overworld stuff and aboard your De Jong ship. That's going to make it kind of cleaner and easier to get all the daily stuff done in an optimal manner. They're adding quick claim features for the cabins and auto reproduction for it, quick claim for things like clues, and they're also going to be adding a quick claim feature for recycling stations that are met after a certain criteria. That'll be great, not having to manually like walk over and hit claim on things. I assume when you like level 3 or 4 on the recycling station for the upgrades, you'll be able to just claim them from the map or maybe a menu somewhere ideally. They're going to work on some optimization for combat as well, including visual cues that appear when enemies are about to attack. That'll be nice for helping you hit those perfect dodge timings optimally. It can be a little unclear, especially when there's a lot of enemies around, what's going to be hitting you from where. And they'll be optimizing your teammates' actions, including movement paths and collision effects. That's nice. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with this first round of dev communication from the folks working on Enfield. I like that they gave us kind of clear expectations of what's coming in the patch tomorrow, along with nice updates that include more resources like this designated permit selection. And they also gave us a kind of good top level overview of what we can expect in the not too distant future from the couple of patches that'll be following this one. I'd love to hear in the comments down below what you think of the changes that are going to be coming. You made it all the way to the end of this video, so you probably liked at least some of what I had to say. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Hoaglandia Enfield on YouTube to get updates about the game, character breakdown, blueprint designs, and everything else, along with live streams when we're checking out the game and hanging out playing some Arknights myself. I appreciate everyone that made it all the way through to the end, and I hope your next headhunting permits are excellent.